All right, and we're live. Yes, awesome. Looking good. Perfect. Live on YouTube and Twitch. My name is Bob. Welcome to the channel. This is Tabletop Bob. This is my channel where I play all my live stream D&D games. I also do DM prep videos, DM guides, and welcome. If this is your first time checking the channel out, if you're a returning viewer, if you've been watching any of my live streams, then you'll know that I've been talking about doing a live stream game of the new Candlekeep Mysteries, which I'm very excited about. In fact, I have pretty much have it all set. I'm going to be live streaming my game of Candlekeep Mysteries tomorrow, Thursday, March 18th at 8:30 p.m. We're going to be running through the first adventure, which is The Joy of Extra Dimensional Space. And here's a little quick preview of the thumbnail. So you can see here, this is the first in the series. I'm going to try to do as many of them as possible. Last night, right here on the channel, I went over a little bit of overview of all the adventures, and that video is also on my YouTube channel. So if you're watching on Twitch, you can head over there and check out my kind of overview of the book. I talk about all the adventures and the Candlekeep section that's in the beginning. I did manage to get the hard copy, which came today. So it's brand new, shiny. You can even see that. Wow, look at that. That shine. So I was able to look through the actual hard copy today, and it's way easier to follow than just looking on Roll20. But all of these adventures are, I think, just the skim that I did of them. They're really well done. It looks like they took a lot of time to develop these. They're all one shots. So if you're unfamiliar with the book, the book is supposed to be all one shots. You can either incorporate them into your games, your homebrew games, or run them entirely. But they're an anthology series, so there's no connection between them. They can be really cherry picked, whatever you really want to take from it. All right, so as you can see on the title of this video, we're going to be making an overlay. So I have a few streams that I play. I play Icewind Dale Rime of the Frostmaiden, and that streams every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We've been playing that since October, and I have a really cool overlay for that. I have a Supernatural 20, which is my horror one-shot game, similar to Candlekeep. It's a bit of an anthology series. We do one-shots every single episode, so there's no need to necessarily watch them all in order, but the characters are the same. So that's kind of unique, and the characters go from one-shot adventure to the next with just a tiny bit of continuity. And then I have another series called Warhammer 40K Players Play Dungeons and Dragons, where I take some of my friends from the Warhammer community, the competitive community, and we play D&D and see how those win at all costs 40K players handle Dungeons and Dragons. So I have three kind of ongoing games that I've set up on my channel, and I've made really cool overlays for them. I'm proud of them, at least. I'm going to give you a quick disclaimer in terms of technology. Um, I I started this channel about 6 months ago to showcase my live play games, kind of my creative outlet for D&D Fifth Edition. But I play tons of games, and almost everything I play is not a computer game. I play like strictly tabletop strategy games. I love D&D, obviously, but I run the Battle for Salvation Gaming Club here in New York, and we run a lot of 40K tournaments, Warhammer 40K tournaments, and so I've been playing that for 15 years, D&D for over 20 years, and board games, you name it. I really, if it's tabletop, I love it. But I really haven't played too much PC games, and in fact, I haven't even owned a computer in over 12 years until I started this channel. I got the computer to be able to stream my games. So I am not the most tech savvy person, but I've learned a lot in the last 6 months or so and I've also, uh, to me, feel like I figured out some easy tips and tricks to make competent looking overlays. When I first started, I was really nervous about having to do all of this, and I figured I'd maybe have to go online and pay someone. I looked on Fiverr and a couple of other sites where you can, you know, uh, buy a service from someone. They can make an overlay for you, and I just didn't know exactly what I was doing, so I assumed that was what I should do. And then I realized that I didn't want to put too much money into everything right away. So just going to, I already built or bought the computer and spent quite a bit of money on that stuff. That I wanted to just try to learn things on my own, and even if it took a long time, that I would just I would be learning a skill in the time being. Um, so I watched a bunch of videos, not gaming related, but just videos on how to use GIMP, how to edit photos and things like that. And I learned slowly, and I figured out what to do, and uh, and then eventually I kind of figured out a much faster way to making these overlays. So today I'm going to go and make an overlay for my new Candlekeep series mysteries, Candlekeep Mysteries series, and I'm going to show you, whoever watches this either on YouTube or Twitch, and later on YouTube when it's posted, how to make an overlay of your own. And I've gotten it down now to pretty much a science. I can make an overlay in 20 minutes pretty easily. The degree of which you want to put into it, you can make it look even better. But again, the for what I'm going to be doing, for having a stream where I have D&D players, um, you know, basically I need just some boxes for heads and maybe some graphic or something in the background and a spot for my Roll20 game. It's pretty simple. It is pretty simple, and you can use this and modify this method to fit any game. Really, you just make it. The key is here: we're making windows, and we're allowing for zoom screens or cameras to be put in those places. All right, I'm just checking on stream here. All right, good. And again, like I said, I am not. This is a disclaimer. I am not a tech expert. I am using two apps to work on this today. So the first one is OBS, Open Broadcast Software. I'm going to be using I'm using that to stream, but I will then share my screen and show what my display is like, so you can kind of see how I'm navigating in OBS. It is regular OBS, not Streamlabs or anything like that. But I'm sure it's going to be similar to other streaming software. And then the other app that I'm going to be using is Canva. I have actually Canva's in the background right here. So you can see this is Canva. I'm going to minimize myself a little bit so you can see a little bit better. But yeah, so Canva is the website that I use to create the graphics and the overlay before I put it in OBS. So I'm just going to be using these two apps to make the overlay. But there are a variety of ways to do it. And like I said, if you have Photoshop or GIMP or something similar, that's actually what I was doing before I figured out this little trick to do it all in Canva. But you can go to those extremes if you want to make a even nicer overlay, if you want to add some more very specific details to it. But anyway, so here we go. So let's dive right in. So I'm going to Quentin Tarantino this. I'm going to show you my final product here in Canva first, and we'll work backwards. So basically what I want to do, this is my Supernatural 20 overlay. So what you want to do is you want to be able to figure out what background image you want, and then once you do that, where you want the placement of your players and your camera. And then you can put in lettering and words and stuff like that wherever you see fit. So when I was creating this overlay, my main concern was that I had 6 players, and I wanted them to be, relatively big. I like it when you can see a lot of detail in the players' faces. If the boxes are too small, if the spots for their zoom are too small, then I feel like you really miss out when you're watching a D&D live stream. And then I also wanted to have a background that is fitting to the theme here. So I chose this like creepy forest because it is a horror one-shot game. So I chose this like kind of dark and ominous forest, and I think it worked really well. And if you've ever seen any of these supernatural games, you'll see that the Roll20 screen is displayed here in the bottom right corner. And then I usually, whatever game I'm playing, I'll put like the thumbnail just to the right of my camera box. So you can see I set up the boxes here, and they're all green, and that's for a very specific reason. All right, let me just check the stream chats here. Desmond X. So it's funny, yeah. In your question is this for Descent into Avernus or for a different campaign? Actually, it's for the Candlekeep Mysteries series that came out yesterday. That I'm going to be running one of the one shots tomorrow night on a Thursday at 8:30. But I tell you, I really wish I had this Candlekeep book when I ran through my Avernus campaign, because when that campaign gets to Candlekeep, that section of the book is really not so fleshed out. And this could have been a cool opportunity to throw in a one shot or two while the characters are there to break up the monotony of the dread of Elturel. But yeah, actually, if you're familiar with my DM's Guide series that I've been doing post Avernus, I will be actually filming that Candlekeep section this weekend, and hopefully can get it out by Sunday, because I now have the Candlekeep book, and I think that would be there's some things in there that players who are running Avernus right now will love to hear and would love to use in their campaign. So this is for Candlekeep Mysteries, but it definitely could be used for Avernus. All right, so I'm gonna now open a new Canva screen and start building the Candlekeep Mysteries one. So let's go back to the home. So Canva. Canva is a wonderful website. You can make an account for free. You go up to here to create a design. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go with desktop wallpaper because it's the right dimensions for my OBS stream, 1920 by 1080. You can use any size. There's ones for Instagram posts that I make. There's ones for YouTube thumbnails. But again, this is an overlay, so I wanted to have the right dimensions of the OBS that I'm going to be capturing. It does depend on your monitor and display you have. So just check and see what the dimensions are of your stream. But I think for a lot of people, it's going to be 1920 by 1080. So I have created the blank Canva here. And the first step is to really figure out the background. So Canva has its own options here on the left. So I can go to background and I can pick one. I've been kind of thinking about this for a while. So I did have this recently used one here, this like red, and it's got like it's like a faded red background. But I think because the Candlekeep book, the alternate cover is all red, and it's got that like sort of carnival-like text to it. So I was thinking about this one because it's just very plain and basic, and it'll get the job done. But I mean, you could pick any of these overlays, or backgrounds. You could pick, so like brick. You could pick something like, well, look at all the roses. I've done that before for things. They've just got different ones here. There's some cool ones that you can search through, but like I said, my thought was either if I'm going to go really basic, I'm going to go with the faded red because it matches the Candlekeep cover. If I'm going to go with some design, like I've done for my Roll20, something you can do is go to pexels.com. Actually, so I've looked up spooky photos before in Pexels. There's a million of these these free royalty-free photos. So I'm going to search here library, and I kind of looked at this too, just to prep for this video. But there's a couple here that I'm interested in because I kind of want to make two options and then see how they both look. A plain one with the red and a one with books in it. Since this is all about Candlekeep, the great library, I figured it'd be cool to have a book shelf in the background. Yeah, there's a couple of cool ones here. Yeah, there's a couple cool ones here. I like the ones without people, obviously. I don't want people in the background. And I also want it to look vintage. I don't want it to look like it's a modern library, like none of these are really that good for this. This one was good. I like this one because it does look a little old, but these light bulbs are kind of killing me because there wouldn't be light bulbs. Let's see. Desmond got a chat question. How could I blend the two well enough if they are separate campaigns? That's a good question regarding the Avernus Candlekeep section of the book. Um, so obviously the characters are heading to Candlekeep. They're en route to um, find out more about Thavius Krieg's contract, his infernal contract that they gathered from the puzzle cube. They can't open it, so they don't know what's inside even. Although Philaster Fisk, the prisoner that was in the Van Thamper Villa, has knows Silvira, the tiefling that can open it at Candlekeep. So you're headed there to get her the puzzle box, and give the group the next steps to getting to Avernus to save Elturel. And you could, I mean, Candlekeep is full of different wizards and archmages and all these different really powerful people. And Silvira, may be very busy, or she may not even be at Candlekeep. She may be on leave and maybe will be returning soon. So when the characters get there, you could have them spend some downtime there, perhaps a couple of days, or if you really do want to keep the pressure on and you want them to get to Elturel, you could have it so that while they're waiting, maybe a few hours for her to finish something that she's been doing or get back to the keep, they stumble upon one of these mysteries. The mysteries in the Candlekeep series are actually based on a fictional book that they say is in the library. So anyone that could be in the Great Library could be perusing through books and find it. You could also, some of them have plot hooks in there that, like, there's a person at the keep that may be telling the adventurers something about a book, so they might go and search it. And if you throw plot hooks out there in Candlekeep, they'll probably bite. They'll see what you're trying to do, and then they can go on these short one-shot adventures. There are a handful of adventures in the book that take them out of Candlekeep, so I would avoid using those. But there are a bunch of, like, third to sixth level. Yeah, I think there's like 5 third to sixth level adventures. There's 2 fourth level ones. So depending on where you're at, you could pick one of those and totally run with it. And I think it'll be a nice little pause from what's going on. You as the DM could tell them if you know it's a one shot. You could be like, hey, we're gonna break it up a little bit, or you can keep it a secret and just play it close to the chest and see if they notice. I hope that answered the question. Dasha's here. Hi, Dasha. I remember the Candlekeep section of Avernus campaign. That was such a fun area to have downtime in. Yeah, and we ran it as the book stated. Like there was like the little tavern. It was like almost felt like a college university, but there wasn't a quest or an adventure within the keep. It was just like things to kind of, there's like background noise in my opinion. It was just stuff to do, but no real purpose. Nothing like an adventure driving everybody. Yeah. And also, if you're going to incorporate these into a homebrew campaign or something like that, it would be very easy. The book basically says you don't even have to have it be Candlekeep. If there's a library in your campaign setting, well, just rename everything, and it's that easy. Okay, so back to the overlay here. I am going to keep this. I believe I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put it right on my desktop and save it because I like this. I like the lighting. I just don't like the light bulbs. I like the background, how it's kind of blurry and it gets a little more in focus because you don't want the background to be too distracting. So I do like this background. I'm just not crazy about the light bulbs, but maybe we can hide them with the player boxes and stuff. And then I think I'm just going to look for one more photo just in case. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make that overlay first, and if I really don't like how it looks, I will come back to it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. All right, so let's go back to Canva. So here's my red one. I'm going to create a new one below it. I'm going to delete that background, and I'm going to use this one that I just got. Okay. So when you put in a picture into Canva, you can right-click it and set it as the background. It'll automatically fit it to the size as best it can. And if you double-click on it, you can kind of maneuver with whatever leeway you've got. So actually, this is not so bad. I could actually get rid of most of the lights. At this point, I would probably just have, yeah, a couple of little light bulb ends there. I could make it a little bigger and then get rid of those entirely. Yep, there we go. Okay, so for example, there is my background now in Canva. And I really like this look. I like it a lot, so I might be going with this over the standard red. But to make the red a little nicer, I could just give it a touch of... Oh, it's a background. I can't change it. Can't filter it yet. All right, so anyway, I think I'm going to go with this one for right now because this one's really catching my eye. But I've got a background of books, and I'm ready to start here. So once you got your background set in, then you want to think about how many players you've got and how many boxes you're going to need for Zoom windows and your camera. So I have 4 players playing on tomorrow night. So I'm going to try to make 4 boxes. So I'm going to just do the elements section here. There are shapes. You can go with very simple shapes like a square. Okay, and you can make that elongated. You can make it more rectangular. Whatever you want to do with it. You just got to make 4 shapes of the same size, and you can copy and paste them, and then you will have your basic setup here. All right, so if I want them to be, I guess I could put them at the top. Yeah, and the good thing about Canva, and the reason why I've been using Canva a lot, is because the this app does a lot of resizing for you. It's actually incredibly helpful. It automatically has these guides, and I know you can set that up in Photoshop and GIMP and stuff like that, but I've also found that it takes a little bit more than just playing around with those apps to get familiar with it. So this is just right out of the bat, super easy. And once you've got your windows here, you can position them so that I want them all to be even horizontally. And there you go. So now they're equally lined and they're centered. You can actually group them together so that they don't move apart. And I'm going to just make sure that, yep, they're in the center right there. Okay. So since I want the background to be seen a little bit, I'm going to space them apart. And then I'm going to put my window here. So I'll add another one. Whoops. I'd like to make mine just a smidge bigger. I will have a better quality camera than most of the people I'm capturing on Zoom. So I'm going to put my picture down here in the corner. And again, you can see Canva's telling me exactly like where to center it, and even down here where it's, you know, if I want it to be more aligned with like the center of the, or I guess maybe a quarter of the boxes up there. But I'm going to put it like right about here. There's really no right or wrong way to do this. This is where you want it. Okay, so then I'm going to change all of these to have green in them. And this is really important. You want your boxes to be green because when you put them into OBS, that's how we're going to cut out the boxes there. And we're going to be able to put our cameras and Zoom windows behind it. You also want to make it the most vibrant green. So if you go to the color choices up here, you can drag it all the way to the right. So it's that like very bright neon, almost neon green. That's like the truest green you can get in Canva here. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to want to put some titles. I'm also going to want to put my characters' names here, but I can do that later because I don't really know all of their names yet. I know the players, just not the characters. They sent them to me, but I didn't remember them, and I'd have to check. But you can see what I'm going to do here next. I'm going to go to text on the left-hand side. And when you go to text, you'll bring up there's a bunch of headings you could use. You can like pick these preset ones, although they will say exactly what they say here. They'll say wow or boo or enjoy. And I don't really need all that. They also have their different effects and filters on them. I'm just going to go to the text search up here, and I found one that I really liked, and it's called Rye. So I'm going to put this in here. I think this matches the Candlekeep look. It has the same kind of font, that sort of like, I want to say like circusy, or there's a word for it, but it reminds me of like that circus theme here. I'm not sure why, or that old-timey feel, you know. Oops, I guess I lost that. But anyway, so I'm gonna get this here. I want to get rid of these pre-generated ones here. But once I do that, okay. Oh yeah, I can just do it up here, Rye. There it is. Okay, so now I've got the text font that I want. The size I'm gonna change, but let's put in Candlekeep. Candlekeep Mysteries. Put them together. Make it a little bit bigger. You can also change the line effect, so if I want it to be closer together, I can make them a little closer. And then I'll put this above my camera box. All right. And I can actually have it like sitting on top of me. That might be cool. The Y will come down. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that. Although it's just a smidge too close. Okay, so not to get too particular here with where it's centered, but that's roughly what I want. Okay, so now because it's kind of white and it's like a fade out background, I'm going to try to put some effects on it to make it really stand out. So I'll make it neon. I usually see that comes through really good on the stream. I'm going to change the color to black. Okay. But I am going to pump up that intensity so it'll become like a bright, vibrant white. And it'll give it some definition. So that is my title. I've got room for players' names, either below the boxes or even in their boxes. I could do that. In fact, let me move this down a little bit. Yeah, so that's good. I give them a little more room. And then I can put the players' names here, and I can keep the spot open for Roll20. So when I create that source here, when I create the window capture for Roll20, I'm going to put that right here. I could also put a box there. I could put a green box, a rectangle one, or whatever color I want, because I could. Basically, what I'm doing here is once I put this in OBS, these green spots are going to like be negative space. I'm going to put a filter on them to get rid of all the green. And when I do that, I'll be able to put my camera and all of my zoom screens behind it, and you'll see through them. So I could do that for Roll20 as well, but I'm not going to yet. I'm also not going to put like a title screen. I don't think I want to put a title screen here, because if I do put like it's for the joy of extra dimensional space, then, well, I guess I could. And then I would just change it, and yeah, I could. Maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll use this alternate. Yeah, I'll use this. Maybe I'll use that. That might work. Yeah, that might work. Oops, got a Control V. Oh, it came out in Rye. Okay. We can change that. There we go. So I'll put the joy of extra dimensional spaces. That's the title of the one shot tomorrow. Make it a little smaller, try to get it on one line. There. Okay. So that will be the title, and I can put the Roll20 still above it, and it'll display for whoever's watching it. All right, great. So this is my, I mean, it's kind of like a final product. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to change the shapes here. I could very easily make them not boxes. I could pick a different shape, but I'm going to go with this for now, just so that I can show everybody on the stream how to get to OBS. So I'm going to download this. I'm going to download, this is page 2, so I'm going to download it. Okay, so there we go. I've got the design. Now I'm going to go into OBS, and this is where it's going to get a little tricky. I'm going to be putting OBS in front of my display, so you'll be able to see it. Okay. Okay, so what you're seeing right now, since I'm showing my entire display, and I put OBS on this monitor, you're seeing infinite versions of me, but that's okay. If you have OBS, this won't happen for you, because you probably aren't going to be capturing your whole display. So I am going to use OBS. I'm going to go down here into my sources. I'm going to create an image. I'm going to name this Candlekeep Overlay. Okay, and then it's going to prompt me to browse for a picture. I'm going to go to my downloads, and I guess it saved it as Blue Wood as the name of the font, I guess, that was there. But you'll see it comes up. Yeah, so it comes up here, and I'm going to hit OK, and you can see my overlay is now on Roll20. Excuse me, Roll20, OBS. Yeah, it's actually covering the entire screen, though. So I'm going to minimize it a little bit, or reduce it a little bit, kind of put it where it should be. There we go. Yep, there we go. So you're still seeing my OBS, but you're also seeing the overlay up top. So here's where this whole trick that I figured out comes into play. So you can click on your Candlekeep overlay image. You're going to right click it, and I'm going to go to filters right here. So you click on filters, and on the left hand side you can see all the effect filters that are on this, but there's none right now because I just put it into OBS. So I'm going to add a filter. I'm going to add a chroma key. Doesn't matter what it's named. And you can see here, chroma key is what people use to get rid of backgrounds if they have a green screen. So I actually have a green screen. I don't really use it that much because, I mean, I don't really need to hide my background. I mean, everybody loves to see my laundry room. So, but I definitely have used it before, and I've tried to edit out the background, and you can use this to do that. So if there's whatever is green on the screen will get cut out. And that's why we had those boxes there. The boxes were getting cut out. That's the purpose of them being green. So you can see here on the preview, they're now like negative space. They're gray. So I'm going to, and actually I'm looking on YouTube right now. It's not coming out so clear for some reason. I'm not sure. Maybe when I'm streaming it, it doesn't see it so perfectly. Oh, actually, because I'm probably, yes, okay, probably because I'm kind of hiding it there. Yeah, not sure why, but I'm gonna hit OK, and you're gonna see what it does. All right, so should be reformatting in just a moment here. Okay, yeah, and actually, it's funny that's there because the display capture that I have on it's now visible through the background of it because I cut them out. So actually, I'm going to move OBS back to the other screen. I'm going to make this as big as the screen and then shut off the display capture. Yep, so there you go. So now, here's where it gets fun. You can see the entirety of my overlay. You can see all of the negative space, and yet you can still see part of my camera because I'm in the bottom right corner and those cutouts are now open. So I can take my camera, which I'm going to try to do this so you can see what I'm doing. I think that's possible. Let me see if that's possible. Let me make this small again and turn on the display. Yep. Okay, good. Okay, so seeing through the display and seeing the dead space here, I'm going to click on my camera. I am going to move my camera and fit it into the box. Okay. Yep, perfect. So now you can see that I am now in the box, and what is being projected through is only based on the size of the box that we cut out. But my camera is underneath the overlay. If I were to put my camera over the overlay on my sources section, I would now be on top of it. So I want to put any sources like my camera, your Zoom windows, or your Google Meet windows, whatever you use for this, put it underneath the overlay, and then it'll show through. Okay, just think of it just as layers, right? So I have now I've made a window with holes in it, and now I put the cameras behind it. All right, so now I'm going to make this full screen so that you can see exactly what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so I'm going to make my camera a bit bigger to fit that window. Okay. And there you go. So now my camera is behind the overlay, and I'm fitting into that space. Yep, perfectly. Looks great. And then if my players are with me and I have Zoom windows that I've created sources for, I can just take those Zoom windows and put those players up top. So now I'm in the top left. You can see if I make myself big enough, I can actually be fitting through multiple windows at the same time. So it's all set. Very easy. And I went slow to do this, but I've been streaming only for like 45 minutes, and I think this looks fantastic. I was going to make the red one just as like a alternative to just see what it looks like, but I think I'm just thrilled with this. Yeah, I think I'm just thrilled with this. And I can actually show you, so I'm going to take the window capture and move that around. Yeah, I'll take that window capture. So if this were my Roll20, I could put that on top of the overlay, and there you go. So now you can see my Roll20 screen, and oh, actually I did have Roll20 up. Let me go over to Roll20. So I got Candlekeep Mysteries up. Got the front page there. Yep, so there you go. So you can see I've got Roll20 displayed. I've got spots for all my players. I've got some room for their names below them. Now in hindsight, though, looking at it, it kind of bugs me that the Roll20 is not on the bottom because the Joy of Extra Dimensional Spaces title is there. So I'm thinking I'm going to probably go back and do this later. Put the Joy of Extra Dimensional Spaces above it so that Roll20 can be like kind of flush with my camera. But those are nitpicky things. So, you know, again, it's really more your preference where you want things located. But that's it. So that's my overlay, and I think this looks fantastic. Again, maybe I'll make some tweaks to it based on just some particular things that I feel, but that's basically it. So tomorrow night, well, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this is informative if you are a content creator and you were thinking about doing live play games, or you're getting into this and you want to play live play, you want to show your live play games. This is an easy way to make a competent looking overlay. And there are some other fancier things you can do. I used GIMP to add an effect to my Icewind Dale campaign. In that campaign, I gave it like a more of a rounded edge, which you could do in Canva. But when I did that rounded edge, I also gave it like a sort of like a backlight, and so it kind of glows. The edges glow blue, so it's really cool. I thought it fit the Icewind Dale theme. I don't think a glow would fit so well here. Um, but yeah, you can get fancier with it. You can, if you have Photoshop or GIMP, you can add a lot of effects that obviously you don't really get just with Canva. Um, but again, everything is kind of trial and error for me. I kind of figured this out by watching some videos that weren't related to gaming, um, on how to make overlays, and then I realized if all you really need are boxes that are green, and then you can put a chroma key on an OBS, then you can make an overlay in, like I said, 15 minutes. Just find a picture you like and cut out your squares. So I hope this was informative. I hope that that you if you're going to use this, comment down below on YouTube, because this will be up on YouTube. Comment down below, if you've made any overlays, and if this worked for you, and if you have any tips for me, because again, I'm relatively new at this, and I would love to hear some of your ideas. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I stream games every week. You can see the entire schedule there. So have a wonderful night. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And I'll see you all on the tabletop. Bye.